We are back. Welcome to a live podcast, episode 24. Today is November 19th. The New York Knicks are rolling. I'm here joined by my co-host, Chris. Chris, what is going on, man? How are you? It's good to be back. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. It's good to be back. I've been away for a bit. Um, I'm happy, man. Knicks are rolling. We're winning some games now. Everything seems to be coming together, even though some of our players are missing a few games here and there. I'm feeling pretty good, man. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling absolutely great. Obviously, the Knicks are 6-1 in their last 7 games, with victories against the San Antonio Spurs, the Clippers, the Hornets twice, the Wizards, the Hawks. We own the Hawks, man. We're 2-0 against the Hawks in Atlanta, and obviously we lost against the Boston Celtics. But Chris, where do we begin? I mean, 6-1 in our last 7. Jalen Brunson is simply rolling. He is shooting 47% from three this year, which is absolutely crazy. Julius Randle has turned things around. He's hit a 180 and turned things around, and he's been awesome as well. Dante DiVincenzo has stepped into the starting lineup and has simply played out of his mind. So, where do you want to begin? I mean, there's so many avenues where we can go, we can touch on. They're just rolling, man. Everything is clicking, everything is rolling.
Yeah. I mean, where do we begin, right?
Brunson, I mean, we
um,
can start with Brunson, man.
we,
I
we,
mean,
we can start with Brunson. I mean, this guy right here, Jalen Brunson,
I see you
repping
rocking the
Brunson
jersey,
tonight.
so I
I
see
love
you.
this jersey, man. I love it. I love it.
The funny thing about Brunson is, the first couple of games he was, obviously inefficient from especially shots around the rim. And I'm sure he still wants to improve that. But these last few games, he's just been on a mission. And the two in season tournament games, the one versus the Bucks where he dropped 45 points, and the last one versus the Wizards where he dropped over 30 points. He's built for the moment, and you could tell that he wants to be an all-star. And it's honestly refreshing to see him play like this because. And what I love about his play is last game he had 8 assists, Chris, and I think that's the highest. That's the highest assist numbers that he's had in a minute. So he's
Yeah.
shooting the ball at a high rate. He's shooting the three at a high percentage, 47% from three, and now he's distributing. I mean, boy, man, if he can continue to do that, then the Knicks are just gonna continue to win these games.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest part of it. I think of Brunson's game that kind of gets harped on, right? That he doesn't distribute enough. He doesn't get those high assist numbers or whatnot. And you see it. He's making it a point to dish out to players. Ultimately, he can't get an assist if other people don't score, but he's doing his thing, man. And he's still struggling with the floaters and the inside shots. But I know that's gonna come around. Like that's not worrying me at all. And like you said, he's jacking up threes at a high clip, man, and he's hitting them. So let's hope that just continues.
For sure, man. Like I said, 47% from three. Last game he dropped over 30 points, and I think he only took 6 shots at the end in the second half of the game versus Charlotte Hornets. Did not need to score the rock as Dante DiVincenzo with a career high in that game. I mean, we'll touch on Dante DiVincenzo and the Quentin Grimes aspect in a bit, but that'll be interesting. But Chris, also Julius Randle has also been rolling. I mean, start the season it was rough to say the least. It was really rough. His shooting numbers are, they're still down. They're still not where you want it to be, but he's turning it around. And what I love about Julius Randle again is the assist numbers. He's sharing the ball. He's, getting everyone else involved. If his shot is not falling, he's being very passive. And I just love that we're sharing. Like we're sharing the ball. It's a team sport, obviously, but the Knicks got away from that last season. Everything was ISO. I mean, we still see it in spurts this year, but Julius Randle, man, he's turned it around. And shout out to Randle because obviously he's been getting some heat from a lot of Knicks fans on Twitter, from me, from you. When he plays
Oh yeah,
bad, we talk crap about Randle, right? I mean, we call him out, and we have to, right? It is what it is. But when he's
yeah,
playing well, it is. I mean, we got to call him out. I mean, we got to give him his props, man. So shout out to Jew, Big Jew.
yeah. Shout out to Julius for hanging in there, man. Because like you said, man, it's the thing about Julius is when he plays bad. Not only does he play bad, but it shows on the court with his body language. The effort isn't there. It just all compounds and makes you like, man, this dude doesn't care out there.
Yeah.
But we all know that's not the case with Julius. Julius is a very emotional player. He wears everything on his sleeves, right? So it's good to see Julius going because I've said this before. Without Julius Randle, I know we have Brunson, Barrett playing well, lots of capable scorers out there as well. But without Julius, he's a big part of this team, man. And we needed him to get right.
Yeah.
He's not 100% there, but I'll take this over what we had at the beginning of the season 100,000%.
Boy, it was looking bad, man. It was looking bad for a
Oh,
bit. And then, he turned it around, 29 points at Atlanta. Like I said, we own Atlanta. At Boston, 25 points. Hornets, 23. And then, like I said, the assist numbers are there. Obviously, let's hit some of these comments in the chat. Big Knicks are nice in the chat, always supporting Big Taz. What's going on? Tony in the chat. What's going on, Tony? Keith Turner. Salute everybody. Steven. And yeah, we're just here talking about the New York Knicks. We're 6-1 in our last 7. Steven in the chat, what's going on? Nothing. Everything you experience is a big part of the bigger plan. We need a backup. Evan Best says we need a backup power forward. I do think that is coming during the trading deadline. I do think the Knicks are going to explore that because, boy, versus Boston, we match up terrible against them. I mean, their length and their size and teams like that, we're missing that backup for. And, these wing players, these 6'7", 6'8" guys are so hard to come by. I mean, they're literally gold. So I'm sure during the trading deadline, teams are going to be knocking on every door and teams are going to be looking for that, wing player and wing 3-and-D guy. And I'm sure the Knicks are, going to be looking for that as well. But yeah, man, we are rolling. And obviously the thumbnail is about Dante DiVincenzo and Quentin Grimes. Look, Dante DiVincenzo last game had a career high 7 threes, right, Chris? I believe he took 7 threes.
yeah.
7 threes. Quentin Grimes is out with a sprained wrist, and it's reportedly that he's on his way back. He already has the cast off his wrist. But Chris, these past 2 games, man, Dante DiVincenzo, the offense has clicked. It's what we've been wanting to see with Quentin Grimes out there. Quentin Grimes, we see it in spurts, but we just don't see it consistently. You slide in Dante DiVincenzo in that starting lineup, and you see the chemistry with Jalen Brunson. You see the slashing. He had a putback dunk against the Washington Wizards. You see everything. I mean, look, he's had 2 great games, right? I mean, is he going to shoot above 50% from 3? No, he's not. Let's just be real. But look, I've had high hopes for Grimes, and I don't know. Ever since they inserted him into the starting lineup, Chris, it just hasn't looked right, I mean, he's in there for his defense, but I don't know. What are your thoughts about what are you seeing from Dante? Obviously, he's been playing amazing, man.
I guess one thing I'll say about having Dante in the starting lineup is he was way more aggressive, So when he got the ball, it wasn't a quick pass back or anything like that. He either looked to attack or he took his shots, And I think maybe that's the biggest thing with Dante versus Grimes, I guess you can say, is he was just a bit more aggressive in the way we would want Grimes to be. Whether or not, I don't know. I guess I'll throw this back to you. So do you want DiVincenzo starting or do you want it to be Grimes when he gets back? With that said.
It's so hard for me because obviously I love, Q Dot, and I feel like he has a potential in there. But we can't argue what we've seen from DiVincenzo in the starting lineup has been amazing. I mean, like you said, he's being more aggressive, and obviously he's hitting his 3 at a high rate. That's not to say Quentin Grimes isn't. Quentin Grimes is also shooting, I believe, 40% from 3. So when shooting the 3, Quentin Grimes is also hitting it. But, these past couple of games, we've just seen more from Devo. And I don't know, man. I feel like we've had such a big sample size of Grimes, with the 4 field goal attempts, 5 field goal attempts, 7 field goal attempts. And we would come on here and say, what the heck is going on? Like, why aren't the Knicks getting him involved? But in essence, is it just him not being aggressive? And you can pinpoint that to it. I mean, you see DiVincenzo yesterday, 12 shots. I mean, that's what I want to see from Grimes. And when you already have the chemistry, when you compile that with the chemistry with Brunson, like Tony says in the chat, that Villanova chemistry, when you compile all of that, I feel like Grimes is best suited off the bench with Emmanuel Quickly. So, yes, I do want Dante DiVincenzo to be inserted into the starting lineup. that's what I want, man.
I mean, I get it for all those reasons you said, right? So Dante being more aggressive, he took his shots, man. You can't deny that. He's filled in, and it's offensively, it's looked great. But my thing is Dante is a different defender than Grimes is, right? I feel like Grimes has a more like he's out there for his defense, yes, but we all know Grimes can do more out there offensively too. He's not just a catch and shoot type of guy. We know he can create a little bit, he can drive. Granted, not a big sample size. We saw Grimes in summer league do a little bit extra, things like that. But with that said, I feel Grimes's defense is just more important in the way he plays versus Dante's defense. Grimes stops the penetration. He's more of the point of attack. He stops that point of attack. Where Dante, he's more of a, gambles for steals. Yes, he's more rugged, plays a little bit more physical. But teams can still drive on him. Teams can still penetrate, whereas Grimes will stop that altogether. I think that's where the value comes with Grimes, and that's why I say you got to keep Grimes in there, man, because Grimes can give you 7 threes just as easy as Dante did. Whether he takes them or not, or passes up the shot, that's another story, though. But I still
That,
think you got to leave Grimes in there.
that's the thing, man. Has he shown us? Has he shown us consistently that he's willing to do it? You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
Grimes
I'll give you the numbers to
definitely.
back up your claim. I mean, when DiVincenzo was on the court, the Knicks point per possession is plus 8.6. So the Knicks are a better offensive team with DiVincenzo on the court. With Grimes, they're minus 8.9. So the offense just hasn't clicked with Quentin Grimes. Those are facts. Those are analytic numbers. Grimes defensively is night and day over DiVincenzo. Grimes, he's allowing negative 5.9 points per allowed per possession. With Dante, it's plus 14.1 he's allowing. So Grimes is head over heels better than Dante DiVincenzo in terms of defensively. It's whether or not you want to, you know, have a better offense, but, obviously have a poor defense because you have Brunson already, and now you would have DiVincenzo, and Barrett has been good, and obviously Randall and Mitchell Robinson locking down the fort. So pick your poison. Do you want to have a great offense, or do you want to have some offense but elite defense with the Grimes? But we can get great offense with Grimes too. I'm reading some of these comments in the chat, and Buzzer Beater says it's against lesser competition that I agree with versus at Washington and then versus Charlotte. So obviously Dante DiVincenzo has balled out against them. PL in the chat says, look, everyone needs to breathe. It's been 2 games. Grimes will stay in the starting 5 so as long as everyone is healthy. Thibs doesn't work like that. That I agree with as well. He just doesn't change things on the fly. I mean, he needs a bigger sample size than 2 games, right, Chris?
Yep, he needs half the season apparently.
Half the season. But Keith Turner says, I'm not bringing Grimes back. So Keith Turner does not want Quentin Grimes on the team. Steven says Dante is better than him. PL says Grimes will stay in the starting 5, period. Big Taz says, I say we keep Grimes in. To me, he's better than Dante. Yeah, I mean, so right away you're seeing some agree with it, some not agree with it. Obviously it's since Dante has hit his stride in these last couple of games, it's been a hot topic, and it's going to be interesting. Does Grimes come back against the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow? We shall see. And if he doesn't, obviously Dante DiVincenzo has shown us that he's very capable of, doing it. It's just what the thing I agree with you about is the defense, man. I mean, look, Devo, can he defend? Yeah. Is he crafty on that end? Yeah. I mean, he's 3 steals yesterday. He's not a slouch on the defensive end, but Grimes is a bigger, better defender. So I don't know, Chris. I don't know. I don't know how long you giving this. How long you giving Quentin Grimes if he continues to struggle on the offensive end with the starters?
I mean, Grimes is a shooter, man. And I always say, shooters are going to shoot. He's got to get his shots up. He's going to get into a better rhythm. He has to be more consistent. There's been too many nights where he goes, 3 of 7 or, 2 of 5 or something like that. If he gets a little bit more consistent, then that's a big boost offensively, right? Then we're not having this conversation if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing for Grimes. He has to be more aggressive. and just take his shots. Don't pass up the ball as soon as you get it every time. And just slow down because still to this day, I feel like Grimes plays a little too fast. It
Yeah.
just looks like he'll be wide open when nobody 15 feet from him, and he'll jack that thing up like if they're closing out on him.
Yeah, just dribble. Just take your time. Pull up. I mean,
Yeah,
he has a
take your
quick
time.
release. So I
He
get it.
does. I don't know if maybe not doing that gets him out of rhythm or something. It could be something like that, but that's my thinking. If Grimes is just a little bit more, aggressive, take some shots, I think he'll do a lot better offensively and he'll get in the rhythm. But I guess the best part about this is Dante, right? Dante seems to have got his stride. His shot is on now, and that's a plus for us, in my opinion. So once Grimes is healthy, I think that's good news all around. We got two options there now.
Yeah. We brought in Dante, and obviously, was it redundant? Yes. But you're seeing without Grimes how we play with Dante, and it's been great. Like I granted,
Yeah.
like they've said in the chat, it's been against the Hornets, and it's been against the Wizards. God, Chris, the Washington Wizards, they're like a G League team. They are
Oh man,
terrible. Oh my gosh, and we
yeah.
almost
Whoever thought Jordan Poole was going to be the next Curry? I
sheesh.
mean, I guess he thought that himself, but it's not looking good over there, man. I mean, I don't even know
Yeah,
what to say about the Wizards.
I know. PL says while he does seem like he could be more aggressive with Quick on the bench, his defense is what keeps him in the starting five. I like to see him play with the bench more often. Though, yeah, like Tom Thibodeau staggers Barrett with the bench a lot too. So yeah, I would like to see Grimes with the bench more often. But PL, what we're seeing from Grimes, what we have seen, this the rotation is he starts the game, he comes out midway through the first quarter. You don't see him again until late in the second quarter, if everyone is healthy, and then just repeat third quarter. Sometimes you don't even see him. Sometimes, you'll see him in spurts in the fourth quarter, obviously for big possession or big defensive possession. But that's just the way they've been using him. But I feel like he does have more to. I don't know. I just feel like ever since we inserted him into the starting lineup, obviously last year was great for us. He turned things around with his defense and his offense, obviously. But when you have it's a merit. Tom Thibodeau always says it's based on a merit system, and when you have guys playing, you know, pretty much I want to say better than you, but when Dante DiVincenzo's doing this, you get something to think about, man. Something
Yeah.
to think about.
I mean, hopefully Grimes is seeing this and he's like, man, I gotta level up here. I gotta play better. Dante's gonna take my spot. So we'll see, man. Hopefully this lights a fire on the Grimes and he comes back, on
Yeah.
fire.
Big Task says Grimes shut down Donovan Mitchell and a host of others. That is facts. Look, that's why he's in there, man. He's shutting down
Yeah.
the opposing backcourt, and he's doing a hell of a job. Like I said, the Knicks defensively with Quentin Grimes, negative 5.9 points per possession allowed. With Dante is plus 14.1. So obviously the defense is night and day in terms of that. Keith Turner says Dante is a dog. Steven says Dante is a beast and a better shooter. PL says exactly, plays too fast. I like to see him pump fake more, then take the shot. I hate when he's wide open, fakes, and then drives to the basket. Take that three. Yeah, he plays super fast. Like, it's crazy how when you're watching him, sometimes you're just like shoot the ball, and when you're watching him, you're just like drive to the basket, and yeah, he just plays crazy fast. I can't explain it. Steven says Dante moves with the ball and scores off the ball like we've seen these past couple of games. And he's very crafty on the defensive end as well. But, like I said, versus Boston, it's just a nightmare matchup. Keith Turner is throwing jabs at Grimes in the chat. He says Grimes is super soft. Dante ain't going
Oh
back to the
man.
bench. Believe that. So Keith Turner is all on the Dante train. I love it.
Grimes is not soft, man. I'll go back to that, the playoffs back when Grimes was guarding Jimmy Butler, got hurt, and still stopped Jimmy Butler and got a clutch steal. Come on,
Yeah.
you can't be soft and do that. Soft is getting hurt and then you just rolling on the floor holding your ankle or something.
Yeah,
Come on,
Grimes.
that's not Grimes, man.
Yeah, I want to call him soft. That was that highlight that you just. I mean, that was crazy. Obviously, they're in the playoffs versus the Heat. That was crazy. Keith says, I mean, Grimes is injury prone and he breaks a nail and he is out. Oh my goodness, come on, Keith. Um, Steven says Dante. So they're going back and forth in the chat. I love it, man. Look, Dante Grimes, Grimes.
That's fun.
Rick in the chat says the same way Dante found his shots, the same scoring opportunities are there for Quentin Grimes. He is too passive. Yeah, man. I mean, we've been talking about it before the season. I have had concerns about Quentin Grimes. Way too many games where you're seeing 5 field goal attempts, 6 field goal attempts, and you just like, and he's playing 20 minutes and not even out there with to end the games. And you know, it's frustrating. But when you're seeing this from Dante, it's giving the Knicks a new perspective on wow, this is what the starting five could look like with a shooting guard that's not too passive and is aggressive and hitting his open threes. Not to say Grimes isn't, but it's looked great, man. It does look great. And Dante with a career night, 7 of 10 from downtown yesterday, Chris. Crazy.
Yeah. Insane. And I'll give Dante that as well. He seems to have that timely knack for cutting at the right moment and just getting to the rim, getting some easy points. And that's something something I feel Grimes can do as well, but we just don't see him do it. Or when he does, the ball never gets to him.
I mean, to your point, Julius Randle found him a couple of times in these last couple of games, cut into the basket. And there was a time where he even had a putback dunk against the Washington Wizards. I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. Like, this is different. Like, we're not used to seeing this. But, look, man, I hope Grimes can figure it out, man. I really do.
Yeah, same. I mean, either way, whether Grimes ends up on the bench or Dante starting or vice versa, I mean, I think it's a good problem to have, right? Yeah. I think Grimes, he'll figure it out. He just needs to be more aggressive, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see when he comes back.
Steven says something that Dante has that Grimes don't is the NBA championship. That's funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, man, 6-1 in our last 7. We're simply rolling. 20 people in here. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Come join us here in the chat. We're just talking up the New York Knicks. They've been playing excellent. Like I said, they're rolling. We're 3 games over 500. We have a very big game against the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up. The Timberwolves are rolling as well. And we also have our first home in-season tournament coming up on Friday where we unveil the orange courts, which I'm pretty excited to see. We've seen pictures and then, but I'm pretty excited to see that. So against the Miami Heat, and Miami Heat are also rolling. So, Chris, I've heard a lot of people saying that we're beating easy teams, but I've heard a lot of that on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. But look, the Knicks have had multiple back-to-backs to start this season, multiple back-to-backs with travel. We just had one at Washington, at Charlotte. We've had literally, I wouldn't say the worst schedule in the NBA, but it's been pretty it hasn't been on our side. And to come out of this 8-5, I mean, I think it's pretty impressive. And, to the people saying that, we're just beating the Wizards, the Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and look, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Aren't you supposed to beat these teams? And it's just refreshing watching the Knicks actually beat the teams you're supposed to beat. So I don't understand the people saying that.
That's what we're supposed to do. I mean, if we're coming out here losing to the Hornets, we're losing to the Wizards, that's when you want to panic, in my opinion. When you're not beating the teams you're supposed to beat, that you're not in a good spot. So in my opinion, it's supposed to be a dogfight against the best projected teams out there, whether that's Boston, Cleveland, the Clippers, those type of teams, you're in for a battle, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're playing against Washington and they're blowing you out or something, then you want to worry. But, we got to take care of business against the teams we're supposed to beat. And, don't forget, the Knicks could have just as easily beat Boston that first game of the season. We had that game. I mean, how many close games did we lose so far against, really good teams that we could have pulled it off if it wasn't for a call here or there or just a missed call here or there or,
Terrible
whatever the case
call.
may be. Yeah. I mean,
but yeah,
don't get me started on the flop call, man. I'm still
right. We could have beat Boston, but obviously the last time we faced them without Barrett. So I mean, And Barrett finally got back from his migraines, and obviously we'll give him a pass. Last game, obviously he's been out for a while, and you could tell he was frustrated. Like he wasn't. First of all, the referees haven't been giving him any calls. Him or Julius Randle, they haven't been calling anything on the on our side. But good to see RJ Barrett back. RJ Barrett, Chris, has been playing amazing. He's shooting about 46% from three. Obviously, he was out with the migraines, but before he was out, he seemed like he was hitting another gear, hitting his stride. And, he's just continuing his greatness from the playoffs. And it's just, what I love is that we're 3 games over 500. Julius Randle has turned it around. Brunson has looked amazing. DiVincenzo has looked great. Mitchell Robinson, I have a stat here. Mitchell Robinson is grabbing an offensive rebound, I believe 18% of the time. Yeah, 18% of the Knicks misses, Mitchell Robinson is grabbing that offensive rebound.
It's crazy.
Best in the league. Best offensive rebounder in the league. When you watch him play, it's therapeutic watching Mitchell Robinson play, honestly. You can't stop him. So you have all the growth compiled with Mitchell Robinson continuing to get better. And I don't know, things are just looking up, man. I love what I'm seeing.
Yeah. You said it with Mitchell Robinson there, and even give Ihart his credit too, because Mitch is having a hell of a season so far. The consistency we've always wanted from Mitch is there, It's nice to see him not getting into foul trouble every damn game. And with Ihart coming off to replace him, you're not losing that much, in my opinion. And it's funny because Ihart's having a low-key really good season too. But Mitch is just shining so much that it's burying him. But yeah, I really love the way things are rolling right now for the Knicks. It's just like everything is clicking. Julius is still not there, but heading in the right direction. And going back to RJ, we've heard he's had some issues with his knee. Now he has the migraines. When he's out there, he's playing well. I know he was a little rusty this last game, but any concerns there from you, man, that RJ, might dip a bit?
It's a lot of bad luck because he was playing well and then he had the knee thing and then the migraines. So no concerns. No, I'm not concerned about RJ. If he struggles for a week or two, then yeah, but he was just, they said he was sick, so he was having a bunch of migraines. So it's probably going to take him a couple of games to get it going, but no, he was just a lot of bad luck. I think no concerns, just a lot of bad luck in terms of RJ. So, but yeah, look, these games against the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Miami Heat are very important. Obviously, like I've said, the people saying that we like Big Buzzer Beater says, in the past few years, we would have lost more of those games. We are beating the teams we are supposed to beat, but it is not enough of a sample size to change starting lineups. So, look, what is enough sample size, I guess is my question to you. We played 13 games. Obviously, Grimes has started in 11 of them. So, do you give it 25 games, 30? What about it to you, Chris? Do you give it 30 games, 20 games?
I think 25 games, maybe 25, 30.
And then you go from there.
Then see how things go after that. If after that, let's say like the whole Grimes situation, if Grimes still not hitting his shots, then maybe yeah. Then let's throw Dante in there, and then let's see how Grimes does off the bench. In my opinion, that would be, not something that's really blowing up the starting lineup or anything like that. In my opinion, but just a slight tinker, right?
Yeah. We'll see, man. I just love what we're seeing from everyone. And Dante DiVincenzo, next man up, and I just love the mentality of the squad, man. And look, man, things are looking up, obviously, now. And look, we're going to go through highs and lows throughout the whole season. And I'm just saying that, right now we have to give everyone their props because, look, Chris, we had concerns coming in the first 5-6 games of the season. There were concerns, obviously, with Julius Randle, but he's turned it around. And, there really isn't any negatives. The negatives are just when Grimes comes in, hopefully he finds his footing. RJ Barrett, hopefully he gets it going, obviously, from the migraines. Mitchell Robinson's a beast. Brunson's a beast. Randall's a beast. Quickly we haven't even talked about Emmanuel Quickly. Obviously, he went home to Washington and balled in front of his mom. That was pretty cool to see. Emmanuel Quickly has been awesome this year. pay that man. It's too late now. I'm pretty sure he'll probably get that damn bag, man. I mean,
Should have signed him, man. They should have signed him. They should have extended him. I'm telling you, man. He's something, man. Emmanuel quickly, man.
how
How
much do
many
you think
times
he's
are
gonna
we
get on the
gonna
open market next year?
say that?
He'll probably get a bag.
Oh man.
What he wants. You're gonna have the Spurs looking for a point guard, and it's just whether or not the Knicks are gonna match everything that comes his way. Because Emmanuel quickly is obviously behind the numbers. He's elite from mid range, and his 3-point shot has been his 3-point shot has been there. I mean, he's just been awesome. I mean, and people say with the absence of Grimes, with the absence of R.J. Barrett, should the Knicks have gone to Emmanuel quickly to start? And essentially, he's not starting, but he's been playing with the starters a lot. And he's closing out games. He closed out the game versus the Wizards. So even though he's not starting, Chris, he's still playing those starter minutes. And boy,
Yeah.
he's
I
awesome.
mean, that's going back to even the past few seasons. I mean, he's just a player that Tibbs trusts at those end of game situations,
Yeah.
when you need a quick three or something like that, or even when you need somebody other than Jalen Brunson to initiate the offense, it's quickly who's going to be out there.
Yeah.
So, he's a very important piece of this team. I'd be shocked if if the Knicks just didn't match offers for him when that time comes to be. But he's too important, man. He's important for this team, and he's showing out. I mean, he's had more good games than bad this season. And what else can you say? Like, what else could you want from Emmanuel quickly at this point? He's scoring the ball.
Yeah.
His floaters are still there. His defense is still tremendous. He impacts the game in a winning manner. Like, I don't know, man. You probably could have had him for 100 mil for 4 years. 4 years, 100 mil.
Yeah.
Now he's probably going to go for what, 120 or more.
I don't
Even
know.
if this trend continues and he keeps playing well, dropping 25, here and there, he's going to command. Some team's going to take the chance on him.
I feel like the Knicks made their decision. Obviously, they didn't re-sign quickly, but they're keeping their options open. That's what they're doing. Because when you have all these glut of guards, Grimes, Quickly, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, you got to keep your options open. You can't pay everybody. I mean, Josh Hart has taken heat because he got his bag this summer, and he hasn't really been, the Josh Hart we're accustomed to seeing. So he's taken heat, and I guess I wouldn't call it a negative because he's also played good, but obviously last year was such a great year for Josh Hart. But I guess if you want to point out, something that's missing, I guess it's Josh Hart from last year. But even these past couple of games, he's looked like he's hit his stride a bit. And look, don't forget these guys were playing in FIBA as well. So these guys, are starting to get their feet underneath them. You see Brunson starting to turn it around. Hart has started turning around here. And look, yeah, man. But in terms of quickly, look, the Knicks what's made clear to me is they don't want to start him, but they don't want to start him, but they're playing him with the starters a lot. I mean, he's out there with Jalen Brunson a lot. They're actually playing really well together. Emmanuel Quickly's the best free throw percent shooter on the team at 86%. Just looking at these free throw percent numbers, Julius Randle is having a bad year in terms of shooting the free throw, 67%. Mitchell Robinson, 38% from the free throw line. Josh Hart, 71%. So, yeah, Emmanuel Quickly, keep doing your thing. Keep balling out. Hit some of these comments. Yeah, man. Come join the chat. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. Just here Sunday night talking about the New York Knicks. Man Child says, salute, fellas. What's going on? Buzzer Beater says IQ 21 million a year. Yeah, man. Might have to pay up, man. Might have to pay up. Call me crazy. I think we are getting Spider and Cat for sure, Steven says in the chat. We can't escape these cat rumors, Chris. Can't escape them.
They're getting louder and louder, man. And I'm sure, by the next game we're gonna have even more rumors.
He's been playing well too. Give Cat his due diligence. He's been playing awesome. Coach here in the chat, man. What's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. IQ is getting 25 per. That's the thing. If you wanted to pay IQ that, I mean, you're going to have to. I think Jalen Brunson has another year before he can opt out, but he's gonna want a bag, especially if he makes an All-Star team. He's gonna want a bag. So, look. The Knicks made their decision. They didn't pay IQ. Evan says, if there is a Cat trade, who are you giving up? Oh, man. I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this so many times.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't think
I
that's
mean,
happening, but I feel like the players that we're not talking about are the players that we're going to hopefully wind up acquiring. Like, Zion hasn't been happy down there in New Orleans. Devin Booker, you know, who's to say what happens with the Suns if they blow it up in Phoenix? Imagine Devin
Devin
Booker being on the
Booker,
block.
that would be perfect in my opinion.
So,
Oof.
yeah, I feel like the players that we're not really talking about are the players that hopefully will be a Knick one day. I don't know. We shall see. Bellany in the chat says Knicks fanatic has zero patience. Go New York. What's going on, Bellany? Coach here says IQ, iHeart, Fournier, Sims, and picks. He's answering your question for the cat trade. So Julio. Oh, Julu. I said Julio Caesar, Julu Caesar. Peace, peace. Salute to the panel in the chat. What's going on, man? Just talking about the New York Knicks. 6-1 in the last 7 games. Everything is rolling right now. Honestly, there's no negatives to pick at. Honestly, Brunson's rolling, Randall's rolling. DiVincenzo these last couple of games. Chris and I were going back and forth on who would you guys start, Dante DiVincenzo or Quentin Grimes. I would like to see the refreshment. I love what we're seeing from Dante DiVincenzo. I would like to see, maybe a switch because I do think just benching Grimes, I do think he'll actually play better with Quickly. Like, I feel like he'll look good with Grimes, obviously Grimes, Quickly, and Barrett because Tom Thibodeau loves to stagger Barrett on the bench as well. So it's not,
Yeah.
saying that it's a disservice to bench him, but I feel like it'll help him out, honestly.
Yeah, it might get him on track because Quickly's a type, always wants to, yes, Quickly always looks for his shot most of the time, but I think he would try to find someone like a Grimes out there. I think it'll be a good look for sure. That's why I say either way, whichever way it ends up going, I think it's just a plus for us because, you know, maybe Grimes becomes even more aggressive, with the bench unit. Maybe he's just a little squeamish when it comes to the starting lineup because it's Jalen Brunson out there and Julius Randle out there. They command the ball, so could be
Yeah.
something like that.
I put out a poll right now. Who would you start, Grimes or Dante DiVincenzo so far? So just vote on that. But Steven says Zion, I would take a risk on. Yeah, I would definitely take a risk on Zion. And he has the
Yeah,
ties here with RJ Barrett as well. I'm sure he's definitely not happy in New Orleans. So Zion, Devin Booker. I feel like it's like I said, it's a player that we're not really talking about because Embiid seems like he has his star with Maxey now, and Cat, that contract is crazy. If you're talking about a Cat trade, you're definitely swapping him and Randall because I just don't see that
yeah,
working together. I mean, who else has it? Spider. I don't. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't see that
I
anymore.
think with Don, I don't think for a trade at least. I mean, if Donovan is going to come to the Knicks, I think it'll just be if he hits free agency. Get him for just cash.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Caesar says Grimes is not a starting quality 2 in this league. We've had some hot takes about Quentin Grimes here in the chat, man. But I wouldn't say he's not a quality starting 2. Obviously, his defensive numbers. If you're just joining us, I laid out the defensive numbers. When DiVincenzo was on the court, the Knicks are a better offensive team. Points per possession are plus 8.6 when DiVincenzo's on the court. Quentin Grimes, it is negative 8.9. But flip that around defensively, Grimes, of course, has him on the defensive end. Grimes is negative 5.9 point possessions allowed, and Dante DiVincenzo is plus 14.1. So pick your poison, man. You want the better offense or you want the better defense? But I feel like Dante can do it both. But against certain matchups, it's tough for him. He's a smaller guard, and it's just something to ponder about, man. Because I don't know, man. Grimes isn't. I feel like Grimes is. He got someone down behind him that is knocking at the door, and if you don't turn it around, I feel like he's in trouble. And I feel like
Yeah,
he's in trouble losing that starting shooting guard position. So I don't know.
we'll see, man. I mean, I hope that it lights a fire on the Grimes, man. I hope he comes back firing away. And just if he's gonna get sent to the bench, go out with a fight, man. Be aggressive, take your shots, take your open shots. Drive the ball, slow a little bit down, and just play your game, Grimes, man.
Watch me see Grimes come out next game and shoot like 20 shots, shoot like 15 shots, and
I'd be
just
so happy,
let
man.
let it rip from the bat. And look, look, like I said, man, you got to do what you got to do because in this league, you got players. If players are playing well, if players are performing better, you got players that are hungry. And I just love what we're seeing from Dante. Chemistry is there with Brunson. The cuts are there with Randall. Randall looks comfortable with them. I mean, it honestly just felt like they've been together for a long time, and it's crazy. And I don't know. It's something to ponder about, man. Something to ponder,
It
man.
was good to see, but good problems for us, in my opinion. Good problems.
Good problems to have. There we go. Rick says getting Cat takes us where exactly? He's not a needle mover. Yeah, that agree with
I agree with that.
that I agree with. Of course, here Donovan is a 6-foot shooting guard that doesn't play defense. Yeah, I feel like the Donovan Mitchell rumors are, I don't know. Like Chris said, maybe as a free agent, maybe he'll go to Brooklyn or Philly, somewhere like that. Chris, Levine has named Levine. What about Levine, guys, in the chat? Zach Levine's name has been rumored, but what's been made clear is that he does not want to play for Leon Rose and he does not want to play for the New York Knicks
It's
because
insane.
he's part
I
of
think
Clutch. He's part of Clutch Sports. So apparently, Clutch Sports and Leon Rose have a thing together. So
I think that whole Clutch Sports thing goes back to Nerlens Noel too, right? I mean, there was a whole bunch of just BS happening there. But the last I heard about Levine is he's looking for a trade to the Spurs, man. So do you really want?
really,
Yeah, that's the
wow.
last I read about Levine. In my opinion, you have a top-notch player like Levine. I mean, I guess you call him an all-star still. I mean, I know he's got a couple, but at this point in time, do you really think of him in that light? Uh, I don't know. But if he's trying to go to the Spurs, do you really want that guy on your team, man? He's not trying to win.
No, it was made clear is that he doesn't want the Knicks. So I mean, his name has been floated out there, but it is what it is. Trav B, what's going on in the chat? Donovan Mitchell's new contract won't be cheap. That's for damn sure. Hard pass on Levine. No creaky knee, Levine. Levine don't want the Knicks. He's not made for NYC. These Zach Levine hammers. Love it. Ham makers.
That's what you get, man. That's
Steven
what you
says
get when you.
he's not made for NYC. Spider and Brunson backcourt will open floodgates on the defense. Yeah, man. It's a problem out there. Yo, what's crazy is that's a no on Levine. Look, Levine, the Knicks rumors have been there for the past couple of years, but it's not gonna happen. Like, is he a good? I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he doesn't want New York.
No.
Knicks have a bunch of guards already. I just feel like he's not the guy that we're willing to, you know, throw our eggs in the basket for. Chris, I mean, it's looking like we're gonna have 2 first-round picks coming next year. I mean, Dallas is playing well, so hopefully that will convey, and hopefully we'll finally get to draft a freaking first-round player. We haven't done so in the past 2 years, right? So that hopefully that'll reset things. So things are just positive right now. I'm just waiting on something wrong to happen, which knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't. But things are just looking up for the New York Knicks, man. I just love it.
I'm extremely happy where we're at. Again, thinking back to how we started the season, Julius was just all out of whack. He's finally starting to find his groove, and we're rolling, man. And like you said, two upcoming first round picks. Hopefully, we at least use one of them. I don't see us using both, in my opinion, but we'll see, man. Weirder things have happened, right?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of Levine helmet. Levine is not a winning player. Zach is always getting benched. It's hilarious. Nobody wants Levine, man. I don't want Levine.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Cat. A couple of people want Cat, but Levine, no, not so
I'd
much.
rather take. I'll take DeMar DeRozan though.
Yeah. I like DeRozan. I like his game. But to reset the room, if you're new here, please hit that thumbs up button. Smash that thumbs up button. We're just here chopping it up about the New York Knicks. They're 6-1 in their last 7 games. Have a poll right now on YouTube. Who would you start so far? Dante DiVincenzo is winning that poll. Only 8 votes, 62% for him. I put out the same poll on X, Chris, and people want Dante DiVincenzo to start.
Ooh.
So, I don't know. The people have spoken.
Grimes, man, you gotta come back, man. Hit your shots.
The people have spoken. So we'll see what happens on that front. We have a big game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are playing well. The Miami Heat. We have the Timberwolves, and I believe we have 3 games off. Then we play the Miami Heat. Miami Heat are playing well as well. I kind of like this preseason, I mean, not the in-season tournament, and I kind of get it now. You know, I finally got it, and hopefully it goes by point differential. So pretty much what you want to do is, like the Wizards game, people were saying don't rest the starters because obviously what you want to do is jack up the score because it goes by point differential, the standings, and which is pretty cool. So that game against Miami is important, and it's the first game against the Miami Heat that, you know, obviously they sent us home last season. So something to that.
Yeah. I actually can't wait for that game. I want to see how we look against the Heat. In my opinion, I feel like we should be able to win that game. I know the Heat are playing very well, but they're not the same team they were, you know, and there's no Dame Lillard out there either. So,
Yeah.
you know, I like our chances there.
Yeah, for sure. Hit some of these comments. Rick Pennington, what's going on? Leon and Thibs want dogs. Look at our mentality of guys. You must be a dog. That I agree with, man. We got some dogs on the squad. Caesar says we need length at the wings. That's going to be a hot commodity come trading deadline, man. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Those guys are very hard to come by. And I feel like the Knicks, will Grimes be expendable? Does a Dante DiVincenzo great play that he has been playing these past couple of games, does this make Quentin Grimes expendable? And do we trade a Quentin Grimes for a wing alongside a pick? Do we trade him for a wing? Does that transpire? Like a OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, guys like that. Those guys are going to be hot and heavy on the trade market. And do the Knicks knock on Masai Ujiri's door and be like, hey, we got Grimes, we got a first-round pick, give us somebody. I don't know.
It's funny you say that because I think for somebody like an OG in that scenario, yeah, you definitely give up a Grimes in that scenario because OG is going to bring that defense that you're kind of losing with Grimes, and Dante takes a spot, and that kind of covers up everything in my opinion. So that's interesting, man. If I mean, I think OG is looking for a huge payday as well.
Yeah.
I think the last time I heard he's looking for 30 mil a year. I don't know how the numbers work in my opinion if something like that were to even happen, but that is interesting, man. I think in that scenario, you got to include a Grimes. I mean, I think that makes this team better.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to ponder about. Siakam, I think, is an expiring deal, so his name will be floated out there. I think he's definitely getting traded because the Raptors are, I don't know what they're doing. So I think Siakam will definitely get traded. But look, there's going to be teams improving, and hopefully the Knicks are one of those teams. And look, now you have Grimes. I mean, who's there to trade? I mean, you're going to point at Grimes. I mean, Quickly, are you really doing that with Emmanuel Quickly? Are you going to trade him during the trading deadline? I'm not, but yeah, man. Scott Perry came out last week and said the New York Knicks are just missing that one player. They're just missing that one player. It doesn't necessarily have to be a superstar, but he just says they're just missing that one player that will fit alongside Jalen Brunson, will fit alongside Julius Randle, and he also mentions RJ Barrett. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think that all those Scott Perry, little cues out there, little clues
Funny,
about,
right?
what their thinking was. I mean, you got to remember, Scott Perry was in that office a couple of years ago. I mean,
last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that that front office thinking has changed much, So maybe they're not looking for this. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure if there was like an Embiid out there, or even a Zion, type out there, Devin Booker, even. Of course, we're gonna make a run at a type of player like that, having the, all the picks we got. But it could just be something more simpler, just like you said, somebody that fits alongside Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett. So, I mean, hey, this team is pretty damn good. And if we can get a good, solid piece in addition without blowing everything up, I'll take that too, in my opinion.
I would too. And there are, like I said, it's going to be a hot and heavy. Julio Sears says, I'd like to get Sadiq Bey on this team. Coach Chia says Houston and New Orleans have a lot of small forwards. Washington as well. Washington will probably be a seller too. Daniel Gafford is on their team. He's a good, he's a good power forward / center. His name will probably be, I don't know if they're committed to him, but that's some name to look after. And yeah, Rick says Toronto ain't talking to us. We suing them.
That's right.
It's true, but you can't. I mean, it's business at the end of the day. If we're offering the best package, what are you gonna say? We're suing you guys, so you're suing us, so we're not gonna trade with you. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah. Give us OG and we'll drop the case.
But they hate us right now, man. He's right. He is right. Manchild says OG
Absolutely.
has his doctor sitting courtside waiting for something to happen. Yeah, man. I mean, Chad is on fire tonight. But yeah, I
Love
mean,
it. Love it.
I love it too. But yeah, I mean, we're only, what are we, not even 15 games in yet, 12, 13 games in. And things have just been clicking. Last 6-1 in our last 7. We've touched on a lot of things tonight. Obviously, the Dante DiVincenzo, Quentin Grimes starting aspect. The poll is not out now at 50-50, Chris.
Ooh.
50-50. So Grimes, keep Grimes in there or start Dante DiVincenzo. But the New York Knicks are 5th in the NBA. That's another thing. The New York Knicks are, mama, we made it. Mama, we made it. We finally have 3-point makers on our team. We finally have 3-point makers on our team. We are 5th in the NBA in shooting the 3. 38% from 3.
That's
Oh, my
amazing.
goodness.
That's a far cry from where we were at.
It was a struggle, Chris. During the playoffs, it was a struggle hitting open shots, hitting baskets. And everything is clicking right now, man. Everything is clicking. 38% from 3, 5th in the NBA. And what do you attest that to? You just feel like guys are hitting their stride at the right moment? Brunson is taking a lot of threes this year.
Yeah.
He's taking more threes than last year. And he's hitting them. 47% from 3. So,
I mean, I've always wanted Brunson to shoot the 3 a lot more because he's shown he can make the shot. Even in the past, even before he was on the Knicks, he would take, maybe 3 threes a game or something like that, and he'd hit like 2 out of them.
yeah.
So it's nice to see Brunson more aggressive at the 3, and we're reaping the rewards now. I mean, he's knocking them down, and hopefully he continues to knock them down. If he's shooting like that, it won't bother me too much that he's missing his inside shots. That'll be even less of a worry because he won't have to go in there. But it just makes him more dangerous when, that whole entire game plan just when Brunson is rolling, he's making his inside shots. That's just going to make him even more dangerous, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
how can you stop that man?
Right now, you can't. Nobody can stop him, honestly. Right now, you can't. Paul New York comes in the chat throwing haymakers. Dib needs to go. Dibs is the issue. Knicks are so dumb. Dante is the start. Both are great defenders. Oh, man. Why Evan still on the bench? We actually saw some Evan Fournier against the Wizards. Because with all the injuries, we actually, next man up, right? Evan Fournier. Deuce McBride, Chris. We've seen him. I've seen him last game. He crossed someone up, then hit a mid-range jump shot. And he's been on the bench, obviously parked because we have a bunch of guards, but with all these injuries, Deuce McBride is coming here, and obviously he's doing his thing. He's stealing balls. He's picking pockets from Jordan Poole. He's guarding. He guarded Trae Young versus the Atlanta game, and McBride is also, you're seeing strides from him. So
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's nice to see it, man. I mean, I know he's not getting a ton of minutes or anything like that, but one thing I've seen about McBride is that shot. It looks a lot better. It looks smoother, and more importantly, he's knocking it down. So that was something where teams didn't really honor him too much out in the perimeter, and he's showing now that every season he's getting just a little bit more better, man. And that shot's gonna come, and it seems like he's taking a nice little
leap
turn for us here. Yeah,
nice little leap, man. The shot is coming for him, and look, like Evan says in the chat, the ball seems to be moving more. Maybe things are starting to change. That's one thing we came into the season hoping for, more ball movement. Tom Thibodeau made it apparent before training camp. More ball movement. We definitely seen it with Dante in the lineup. Hopefully when Grimes gets going here, hopefully he can start getting going offensively. Slow things down, Grimes. Let the game come to you. You don't have to be so quick all the time with your decision making. And look, man, just relax out there and it'll come to you, man. For sure, man. For sure. Steven says Randall is playing more team basketball. What I see is he is letting the game come to him. Yeah, I mean, early on in the season, the effort wasn't there from Randall, and the defensive effort wasn't there from Randall. I remember the Bucks sequence. ESPN literally tweeted out an arrow on top of Randall showing him with a non-defensive effort. and he's turned it around. He's heard the noise, and it's funny because I tweeted on the Knicks Nation page. I tweeted his stats, and then Kendra, his wife, actually retweeted it and said, "I'm not hearing the Randall haters anymore." So she's definitely hearing it. It's hilarious, but Randall has turned it around, and things are looking up. Things are looking up. Games against the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. We got Cat. We got Ant Edwards. It's going to be a tough matchup, and then against the Miami Heat. Gonna go ahead and wrap up this show, but before we go, we're gonna hit some of these comments. If Giannis can take a backseat to Dame, Randall should do the same. Randall should do the same for Randall. Paul New York in the chat coming in with haymakers. JMO says Grimes is shook. LV, man, what's going on? I hopped in LV's chat. Make sure you guys subscribe to LV. Also a Knicks content creator as well. Hopped in his live stream yesterday as well. Has great things to do over there. Thank you. Appreciate it as always. Yeah, man, Knicks are rolling 6-1 in the last 7. We're hitting the 3. Dante's rolling. Barrett hopefully can get his feet. Hopefully he can get it going from his migraines. Brunson is playing out of his mind. Josh Hart, man. Hopefully we can get the old Josh Hart, but he's been playing well these past couple of games. Yeah. So anything you wanted to touch on before we head up out of here, Chris?
No, I'm good, man. I mean, we got these next 2 games coming up. Minnesota, right? It's next. So what are your predictions for the next 2 games? Minnesota
is 9-3 on the season. They're playing really well. They're on top of their division. Karl Anthony Towns is playing out of his mind. Anthony Edwards is playing really well. It's going to be a tough test early on. Road game to end our 5-game road trip. I feel like we could beat them, but we just have to continue the passing. We have to continue the team camaraderie, right? We just have to continue to play well as a team, as a unit, and hopefully we can beat them, man. End this road trip with a win because they're playing well. Awesome. Timberwolves are playing well, man. You got to give them their props.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if the Knicks, come out and continue to share the ball the way they've been sharing it, we can beat anybody out there, in my opinion. So, just like you, I'm hoping for a dub.
Hoping for a dub, and they've got the Miami Heat. Last time we saw the Miami Heat, they sent our asses home. So
revenge.
This game is important, and I'm sure Brunson's going to take it upon himself to ball the heck out. It's in our building. We got to show something against Miami Heat. In-season tournament game. Orange Court, the debut of the Orange Court. I'm excited for it. Evan Best says, great show. I had a good time. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, as always, in the chat. Paul New York says, blessed. Thanks for the content. Always appreciative. We will be back next week, doing this every week, live streaming, talking about the New York Knicks, man. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. As always, it is Let's Go Knicks. I'm Anthony. That is Chris. We'll catch you guys on the next time. Chris is rocking the New City jerseys, man. It's actually pretty fire, man. I got to get myself one of those.
Yeah, man.
That's the first time I'm seeing the hat, too. How you like the hat? It's cool?
I mean, it goes really good with the jersey. Yeah, I don't know if I could rock it with anything else, but, I like it. You got the back, too. Same joint in the back, too, so.
You can go to a Knick game like that, man. You be all Knick geared up. I got to get myself one of those jerseys. I didn't like those jerseys, but I saw them on the screen. Actually, I'm starting to come around to them.
Yeah, man. I was torn at first, but I'm happy I got it when it showed up. It's just the deep blue in it, the double New York. It grew on me, man.
Definitely grew on me as well. The double New York, I love the deep blue, man. That's what I love the most.
It's nice, man.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Let's go, Knicks. Catch you guys in the next time. Peace.